Alright, welcome back. This is Cult of Elections, and today we're going to be going over a 2024 election night prediction that has Kristi Noem being the Republican nominee and Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fill out some safe Democrat states here. This one could be an interesting one. In terms of matchup-wise, I think this is somewhat similar to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez versus Kristi Noem. And actually, this was a video suggested by a viewer. JJ Holmes left this comment. Shout out to you. But yeah, I'm just filling out some safe states. I don't really have a lot of time today, so I'm gonna go out and fill out some safe ones here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, like I said in my previous video, with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I really regret picking some states going blue in this matchup. But yeah, I'm going to pick these two red because I think Noem will have a bigger say in states that are similar to South Dakota, like Alaska and Montana. But yeah, so yeah, in that video I said I regret giving Georgia to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to put Missouri in the likely, South Carolina in the likely. Harris will bring out a lot of African American votes, which I've said in a lot of videos before. So yeah, that'll definitely help her here. Iowa, I'm going to put in likely too. I think, it bordering South Dakota and lots of rural parts of Iowa will resonate with Noem pretty well here. Yes, so I think because Harris is a more progressive candidate, she won't be able to garner too much support in Colorado and New Mexico, but I mean, still win them by healthy margins. Virginia, on the other hand, I think she would move to the safe column. Increased African American turnout in certain places will ultimately flip a lot of places. Yes, so what have we got left? So I'm going to go to Georgia since I mentioned it a little while ago. Like I said, I really regret giving Cortez the win in that video, but yeah, this, I mean, there's no really other way to put it. 2020 results plus increased African American turnout, that turns Georgia that light color blue, the lean. Okay, so moving on here. I'm going to throw yeah, North Dakota. Solid blue, right? Okay. And Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Maine at large in the likely column, as I do Maine's first district. I always forget that one. Yeah, I don't think Noem would be able to resonate with a lot of voters there very well. Maybe New Hampshire, you could argue, but the other states probably not so much. And, as they move further to the left, they might pick up Harris. As long as she holds up being a, somewhat likable person, 4 years as vice president, it should do her well in this. Otherwise, maybe not so much. I'm going to put Texas in lean red. I don't think it quite reached the tilt margin. But if Republicans continue to make inroads with Hispanic voters, it will keep this and Florida in the tilt column here. Well, Florida in the tilt column. But yeah, that's only if they keep inroads. I have said multiple times I thought Texas has at least one more run in it going Republican. And that remains here. Let's move on here. I think Maine's second district will be lean blue. I think this would actually be a pretty big split here, but lean, probably 3-4 points here for Harris. Arizona has been trending blue and more blue, and Noem would not help the case there. a lot of Republicans, I believe, could win Arizona. Noem probably isn't one of them. Because, like I said, I think she only will attract a certain amount of rural support, which already gets out the vote. But Harris would be able to attract, certain other key voters. I think Nevada remains in the lean column, not moving very much. It's because the state is very split up as it is. About half rural, half in the big town. That's it's a very very interesting state in that regard. But I think it could even be a smaller margin than 2020 in this matchup, but yeah, you never know. I think North Carolina would be tilt blue in this one. Harris would be able to garner enough African American support and just general support amongst probably some white communities too. Or I should say more white communities in North Carolina rather than Noem. But yeah, definitely a close one out of there. In terms of tilt for Republican, I think Ohio would be tilt. It's garnered a lot of Trump support. And, I mean, Harris could shake a lot of that off, but I don't think she'll ultimately get the state. Nebraska's 2nd district, I think it will resonate with no more, being closer to South Dakota. But not by too much there. And that leaves the Rust Belt here, and it shouldn't be to anyone's surprise. The Rust Belt looks lean blue. So there you have it. 318 for Harris, 220 for Noem. And there's 2 changes from the 2020 map. North Carolina flips to Democrat. Oh, sorry, 3. North Carolina flips to Democrats. Maine's 2nd flips to Democrats. But I think Noem would ultimately get Nebraska's 2nd. Now put Noem against, say, Pete Buttigieg like I did in my last video, and you have a completely different story. A more centrist candidate can do a lot more damage than a more progressive one, like Harris is. However, I think she would get the victory here. Thanks for the suggestion. If you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe for more daily content, and peace.